Okay, this is the isometric ellipse activity. Um, you'll be drawing some isometric ellipses in your pre-test and post-test. If you already have finished your pre-test and did well, then you don't have to worry about it. That means you've had experience with it. But just like in the video you watched on isometric ellipses, if you have a square, if you're just trying to draw a regular circle, and you're just sketching it, if you drew the square first, and you found the midpoints of the line, and then you represented that with a crosshair, then you can just sketch from basically these are quadrants. There's 4 quadrants of a circle, and you can kind of sketch your circle and within the square. Okay, and then you could get rid of the square, but there's 4 quadrants, and even when we get into the CAD world, they reference quadrant as a line or an object you can snap to. If you look at the, again, this is an isometric drawing. It's just a square, but it'd be a cube because each length is equal, so it becomes a cube. But that's 30-degree axis there and 30-degree axis, just like in the grid. Okay. Now, how do you draw a circle? Well, if you found the midpoints of each line, which they're kind of denoted there, and you drew it out like a sketched a crosshair. It's the same principle here in the flat 2D, okay, just like here in the ISO. So you can just kind of sketch. Now it's not just, they're not equal, but this one here is kind of elongated, and this one in here is a little tighter, okay, and then this one here is elongated, defined to that, and that one there's a little tighter. So there's your kind of your circle and the ellipse. Try to stay within the line here. Stay within the line. Now your major axis is the long. Okay, your long, and the minor axis is the short end. Okay, the minor axis, and that would be the center line of the hole going the minor axis. If it's a hole, but it could be a shaft. So if it comes out this way, and you're to recreate that ellipse out here, then you've got what is known as a shaft. So you got that sticking out. But, or you could have a tapped hole. You could run the other ellipse in here, and then you could draw something like this that represents threads. So that would, but the minor axis is the center line of the shaft, and the major axis is perpendicular to that. If you draw it in the top view, again, you have your midpoints of your line. So you can draw the midpoint line till it crosses, and then you can kind of sketch in your ellipse. In the acute corner, you have a tighter radius. In the obtuse, you have a larger radius. So there it is in the top view. Whether it's a hole or you can make a shaft coming out. If it's a smaller hole, you can kind of just, there, if you had threads going through that hole, you could do it like that. And in the frontal plane, the same thing. You draw your midpoint. Remember, in the acute, you have a tighter radius. Okay, and then the obtuse angle, you have a more gradual radius. And you kind of blend them together to form the isometric ellipse. Again, I'll draw a smaller one inside. And then if you represented threads or something like that, you could. So there's your ellipse. Let me do one more for the video. Again, midpoints. Okay, the tighter the acute angle, we have a tighter radius. It goes from midpoint to midpoint. The obtuse, we have a larger swing of a radius. Okay, and then we just could mirror that over here, tighter, and mirror that one over there, you know, larger swing. So there's your ellipse in the top view. It takes practice. That's why we have these little blocks there. I want you to fill each one with an isometric ellipse. Watch this video over and over again. It takes, you know, some practice, but I'm not looking for perfect ellipses, just trying to get the idea. Going from a two-dimensional sketch circle to an isometric, whether you're in the top plane, whether you're in the profile plane, whether you're in the frontal plane. They're all follow those rules. Okay.